And we are live. This is a rather impromptu live stream, as in, I decided 60 seconds ago to do a live stream. Some of you may have noticed I posted a video just a few minutes ago on the channel and then quickly deleted it because I realized with the first couple of comments in the video that the sound quality was not going to be great on that. But I just bought a brand new microphone, just had it delivered, just plugged it in, recorded a video. I really didn't check anything. I knew I wasn't going to do any filtering with this microphone because I didn't want to do any filtering on the microphone because I wanted you guys to see the audio quality of my new Blue Baby Bottle SL. So I didn't even pull up Audacity or anything. And had I pulled up Audacity, I would have noticed that the audio recorded left speaker only, which happens with these XLR mics if you record in stereo rather than mono. So, once I switch OBS, the settings in OBS to mono, now you should, those of you with earbuds, should be hearing me on both the left and right side. But then I spent like a half hour recording that video and then another half hour editing it and rendering it. I'm like, am I really going to record that again and then edit it again? I was like, yeah, you know what? No, I'm not going to do that. We're just going to do it live. That way there is no video editing involved at all. So those of you that got to watch that video while it was up on the internet for all of 5 minutes, nothing new. I'm just going to basically tell you guys that already watched that video the exact same thing. For those of you that haven't watched it, great. You get to hear me talk about my new microphone. So for those of you just getting here. So very impromptu live stream. I'd actually just posted a video and realized the video wasn't good. So I deleted it and I'm going to redo it. But rather than redoing the pre-recorded video, yeah, I'm going to just do this live. Yeah, it's in both ears now. Yep, Peter. So let me pull up the live chat here. I also didn't plan on doing anything here today, so let's see. Give me just a second to get my OBS overlays and everything right here. So, but yeah, we recorded a video, and normally when I make these, boneheaded mistakes, I just leave them in. I normally don't fool with going back and redoing a video, but that one was pretty egregious. I'm making a video about a microphone, and then for some of you, especially if you're only using the left speaker or something, you had no sound. No, there is no taking into account episode. Again, this was an impromptu live stream, so I'm just setting up these overlays here, so you're going to see some stuff you normally wouldn't see here. But no, this is not taking into account, several days early. This is just me getting some of my stuff in order here. And then I'm going to discuss some of my my new purchases here. Make sure I've got a scene here with the chat for you guys that are hanging out in the chat. I'll definitely interact a little bit with the chat, which is something I haven't done. One of these, just me doing it like a Q&A with the chat. There we go. All right, so we got DT Live now on every scene. And then I'm going to pull up Pulse Audio volume control just in case I need it, which I might here. Playing around with a new microphone. I'm going to make sure I'm good to go on all of this. That sounds better now. Yeah, how are the volume levels, by the way? Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Okay. So, you guys know, yeah, volume is good? Okay. Yeah, I thought the volume might be a little low. I have the gain turned down on this new microphone because it does pick up a lot of background noise. But that was also the case with the Blue Yeti. When I was using the Blue Yeti, it picks up every noise in the house. The Blue Yeti, I turned the gain all the way down. That was the only way it was usable because it was so sensitive. This, I have the gain about halfway up. So it's not quite as sensitive as the Blue Yeti. So, also have my beer here. I just finished editing that video, so I figured I deserved a beer here this evening. And then I realized that video was bad. But that's okay. We're just going to do it live. So my previous microphone you guys have seen was the Blue Yeti, this USB microphone, the Blue Yeti. I bought it about 7-8 months ago. Paid about $130 for this mic. And that microphone, I instantly thought, wow, what a good microphone compared to the cheap stuff I was using before. You know, I was never into like audio, video, multimedia stuff before starting this channel. So this was a pretty big deal for me, purchasing that at the time. I only had a few hundred subscribers at the time. You know, really no money coming in from the channel or anything. So I paid $130 for this Blue Yeti. Paid $100 for the swivel arm to hold the Blue Yeti. So about $230 all told. And I really, really liked the audio quality with the Blue Yeti. Really pretty decent sound quality, pretty good USB mic, except there is a flaw with these Blue Yeti microphones. Let me actually get the mic instead of just the box. So the Blue Yeti microphone, this is the Blue Yeti with the desktop stand that it ships with. Of course, I took it out of the desktop stand and put it on the swivel arm, but there is a mini USB port at the bottom or at the top of the mic, depending on how you have it set up and oriented. And the mini USB port on these Blue Yetis is known to be kind of defective. It's not a good fit on a lot of people's mics, and I had a really bad one. I could not get any mini USB port or mini USB cord to properly fit this thing. All of them were too loose, way too loose. The slightest vibration on my desk, a car driving by outside, a train going down the train track a quarter of a mile away from me, there's a train track, just that slightest vibration would jiggle that cord and that loose mini USB port, and it would short out the cord. I would go back and I would have just horrible audio quality. There have been a couple of videos where you guys have pointed out, you hear this faint in the background, this little pinging sound, beep, 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 that happens like every second. And a lot of you guys naturally assume it's some kind of beeping on the motherboard and one of my computers or something else. It's not. That beeping was, if I short the cord out in a certain way, touch that cord, the beeping is actually from the microphone itself. So that ruined some videos of mine. I actually didn't go back and edit those videos or re-record them. It wasn't something that was so egregious, you know, I needed to do that. But sometimes the cord would come loose and I would go back to play a video and there would be no audio. So like that video that I just recorded, if I had recorded that on the USB microphone, the Blue Yeti, and I jiggled the cable while I was recording accidentally, or a car drove by and, you know, shook the house or whatever, you know, it's possible I could record a 10-15 minute video, go back and listen to it, and there would be no audio because the cable came loose. So this microphone, although I love the audio quality, was driving me nuts. It was costing me time, a lot of time. I don't have that much time between all the things I do as far as all the jobs I have and, you know, other commitments in life. You know, I have very little time for this channel, so I'll set a block of time, 2 hours, to do something. And sometimes I was fighting that time limit sometimes I had because of equipment failures, like this defective Blue Yeti microphone. So I had enough with it. So the other day I was like, you know what, I've got to get a new microphone. And if I'm going to get a new microphone, I might as well step it up from the Blue Yeti. You know, no more USB mics. I mean, that's the pros. What do they use? Everybody uses XLR mics. Professional musicians use XLR mics. Professional, you know, podcasters, radio personalities, everybody uses XLR. So I really like the sound quality of the Blue Yeti, even though I didn't like the defective USB port on it. So I stuck with the Blue brand and bought a Blue Baby Bottle SL. The Blue Baby Bottle SL retails in most places around $3.99. You can find it on Amazon for $3.99. Now, the deal I got, it came with a bundle. I paid $409.99, I think. And that came with the mic, the pop filter. It's not the greatest thing. It's a little cheap pop filter, but not a bad looking pop filter. And the shock mount. Came with the shock mount too. So the cable that came with it, it's a short cable, only about 4 foot long. So I actually ordered like a 20-foot cable. The 4 foot long one is fine for me here at this desktop right now. But in case I ever needed something a little longer, I went ahead and ordered an extra 20-foot XLR cable. It's just a couple bucks. The baby bottle ships in this wood case. Well, actually in that box I showed you, but inside it is this wood case. It's actually real wood. It's actually pretty nice wood case. You would expect it to ship in nice packaging, though. Again, it is a $400 microphone. And I say $400 as in it's expensive. But Blue makes some insanely expensive microphones. They've got some higher end, like for a professional musician kind of microphones that cost several $1,000s. So this isn't anything crazy. But they do make cheaper XLR mics. I think they make one called the Spark, which is like $150, about the same price as that Yeti, but it's XLR. It would have been fine. I could have done that. They make one called the Bluebird, which is like $250, I think, $299. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy the most expensive microphone I can. And I figured, $400 was about my limit. That was my pain threshold. I was like, I've got the money. Reviews online. I checked a few reviews about the Blue baby bottle. Everybody says fantastic. Fantastic for voice. Fantastic for instruments, which I may do some music stuff with it. Many of you guys know I actually do have a couple of music degrees. The trombone is my main instrument. May not do any recording in this room with the trombone. This room is a little small. I like to play, piano, recorder, various other instruments. The brass instruments would probably be a little too loud for this room for me to do anything on this mic in this room. But we may do another rap video. You guys may remember, those of you who've been following the channel for a while, when I got the Blue Yeti, I actually did a rap video to demonstrate how well the Blue Yeti handled some rap. Yeah, if you guys haven't seen my rap video from about 8 months ago when I bought the Blue Yeti, that's one to definitely check out. So, yeah, so we got a few people here in the chat. Blue Yeti, that's one to definitely check out. So, got some issues here. All right. Again, kind of an impromptu stream here. Anyway, I just wanted to share with you guys the Blue baby bottle. Yeah, do it upside one day, outside one day is probably what you mean with the brass. Yeah. Well, a bigger room, because I'm gonna need to get away from the microphone a little bit, and probably turn the gain way down. So, but yeah, this is a very small room I do this show in, so it's way too small for a really, really loud instrument. So the brass instruments are not going to work. If I had a recorder handy, I could play a little recorder, but I don't have anything. It'd take me a couple of minutes to go find one of my recorders. Those would be all right. I may still have to turn the gain down a little bit for something like that. Yeah, guitar. I'm sure it would be perfect for guitar. Just what I'm seeing with the sound quality, I bet it would be great with acoustic guitar. Yeah, drums, maybe. I don't know. I'm not a drummer myself. Yeah, you play the guitar, piano, sax. Yeah, got a lot of musicians in the chat, it looks like. Yep, nice mic. Yeah, it seems to be nice. Yeah. And of course, this is, without me really doing anything to try to clean up the audio in any way. I'm not piping this into any kind of DAW. This is not running through Audacity or Ardour or anything like that, cleaning up anything. This is just the mic with the gain exactly halfway up. By the way, we should discuss the USB audio interface I bought. The Scarlett Focusrite. Let's see. The Scarlett Focusrite 2i2. This is $150. And yes, with the XLR mic, you have to have some kind of audio interface. either this USB audio interface or some kind of mixing board, depending on your needs. For what I do, I'm not going to be plugging in a million things and needing to mix a million different levels of various people speaking or instruments or anything like that. So I didn't go with a mixing board, although I thought about it. I just went with the Scarlett Focusrite because, again, reviews on the internet, everybody seems to say, hey, if you're just getting into XLR mics and just need a good, kind of cheap audio interface for 150 bucks, everybody says this is solid, so I bought it. Why do you need an audio interface for an XLR mic? Well, you need an audio interface, really, for any mic. The thing with the USB mics, the reason they're plug and play is because, like this USB Blue Yeti, the audio interface is actually built into the mic. These mics have their own kind of interface built in. That's why you don't need to plug your USB mics into anything. You can just plug them directly into the computer. The XLR mics, you have to have an interface or a mixing board. You just have to. So. Yeah, a JC Disciple. Yeah, Linux Gamer just released a hardware setup video. Also, yeah, I got that actually. I'm subscribed to his channel. I haven't watched it yet. I need to check that out. That's good he released a hardware setup video. I actually released one 2 weeks ago. So, not about this microphone. This microphone just came in, but I did a actual video on mine about 2 weeks ago. I released it about 2 weeks ago for my patrons, or like the highest tiered patrons. But it's been on my actual YouTube channel for at least a week. So, yeah, you watched mine? I would hope so. Well, I'll check out Linux Gamers too. It'd be interesting to see what he does, especially since it's kind of a different kind of channel. I mean, he's streaming games most of the time, so his channel, of course, is going to have to focus a lot more on actually capturing video, you know, from especially if he's gaming on consoles and whatnot. Where I don't have to fool with any of that. Yeah, he may be copying me. Probably not as far as hardware setup. Are you talking about he saw me do a video on my equipment, he thought about doing one on his? I bet he gets asked about his hardware setup all the time. People were asking me about I probably got at least one person every week ask me to make a video about, you know, my setup, you know, my studio, if you will, which is not much of a studio. Yeah, the stream is buffering a little bit. I've noticed that too. It may be some network connections. I'm in the green right now, but it was in the red a couple of minutes ago. So hopefully, if it hasn't cleared up now, refresh the stream. I think it's all right now. Yeah, weird. Your stream just restarted. Yeah, I saw it do that too. It's possible there's somebody else on the network here. Again, this was an impromptu stream. I was not planning on doing this, but because I messed up that other video, I didn't want to go back and re-record it, then go through the trouble of editing it or anything like that. I was like, well, you know what? Since I already went through the trouble of making the video, I kind of know what I'm going to tell you guys. I'm just going to record it live. So, plus it gives me the chance to interact with some folks in the chat here. So, the Blue Baby bottle, again, I paid $4.09 on Amazon 2 days ago. I bought it Saturday, paid 1 day shipping, paid $40 for 1 day shipping because I wanted it that fast. I wanted to get rid of that Blue Yeti right away. So, $4.09 came with the mic, the shock mount, the pop filter, and a 4-foot XLR cord. Had, of course, to buy the audio interface because I didn't already have one. It's my first XLR mic. So, yep, you're still on baby bottles, says Tulse. Yeah. Definitely unstable. I've been unstable my whole life. It'll never change. Yeah, I didn't have Amazon Prime. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, Arch Cinnamon, 2.2 gigs, Telegram, Discord. Yeah. Raffle off the Yeti. I'm going to keep the Yeti. It's a $130 microphone. But the good thing about the Yeti, I mean, it is usable. It gives me problems, especially on this disc and this swivel arm. But, I mean, it's a USB mic, so I can plug it into my laptops, which was something that was a pain for, doing anything on my laptops, because now I have to unplug this mic, or now I'd have to unplug the USB interface, plug it into the laptops. Now I can have this mic always plugged into my desktop. If I want to do something on the laptops, I've got that Blue Yeti, so, which is a quality mic for something like that. So, but I did think about, maybe doing some kind of contest, give away the Yeti, but I have a use for the Yeti. I could use it because it's portable, especially, in that desktop mount that it ships with. The Yeti, I got to give it credit, does ship with a very nice desktop stand. So it really makes it nice to, for a portable mic. I mean, it's not that portable. It's heavy as hell. I mean, it's like carrying around like 3 bricks. I mean, it's that heavy, but it's still portable. Where in the U.S. are you located? Greg asks. I am in Louisiana. Yeah, I might suggest, and you say, heck, I'll build it. Okay. What model is your headset, Carmine? You're asking Toss about his headset? That's a good question. I know Toss really likes his headsets. Yeah. Ricky's in the chat. I had my very first live stream in over 3 years yesterday. I hate I missed that. Yeah, Carl. Wow, sounds awesome. It's like Derek is in my head. I tell you, just the raw audio from this and the raw audio from the Yeti, which I had 2 different clips in the pre-recorded video that I deleted because I'd messed up that video. I'm not going to go through the trouble of plugging in the Blue Yeti and trying to do 2 different takes here on a live stream, because I know that's going to cause me some issues. But trust me, the raw audio you guys are hearing from the baby bottle, much better than the raw audio from the Yeti. And of course, when you run it through any kind of filters, clean up the audio, both of them are going to sound nice, but you're already starting with really nice sounding audio with the baby bottle. Camos, yeah. I remember suggesting it, but that Mac OS video was weird. You know what? That was one of the most fun videos I've made since starting this channel, was that Mac OS video I posted a couple of days ago. It was in a completely different style of video than I've ever made. It was one of these, kind of like a slideshow going on in the background, and me just doing voice, not me on camera. And some of the pictures I chose to throw in there were also really interesting. I really loved the very first picture of that slideshow. If you guys were paying attention, you had that MacBook at the very beginning of the video, and if you look, there was a Starbucks coffee cup right behind it. I kid, Mac fanboys. Really, I kid. It's all in fun. And of course, one of the last shots, I think, in that slideshow that I put in was the MacBook that had the screen smashed. It looked like somebody took a hammer to their MacBook. Yeah, so Toss, you're just using a no-name headset with a USB adapter. Seems to work out. Yep. I wouldn't mind picking up some kind of headset. Maybe when I do gaming streams or something. But I'll probably just stick with just using this mic. Just, using earbuds for... Yeah, Paul says, I thought you had a Logitech. Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's what Toss did have. He had a Logitech headset. I've used a lot of Logitech products. As a matter of fact, my keyboard and mouse are both Logitech. My webcam, when I started this channel, was a Logitech. Actually, I used 2 different Logitech webcams over the course of this channel. Now, of course, I've moved on to this Panasonic G7, which is just a great camera for the price. Not a cheap camera, but not horribly expensive. Yeah, DistroTube, I watched a couple of videos where they said they're not going to use Linux anymore. Yeah, I mean, you get people like that try Linux for a little while, end up going back, or sometimes you get people that try Linux for years, and for whatever reason they decide to go back. That's kind of strange. I can understand people playing with it a few weeks, even a few months, missing something and going back. But like now, I can't imagine ever going back to Windows, for example. I mean, it's been 10 years since I've used Windows. If I was missing something in Windows, I wouldn't even know what I'm missing at this point. You know, it's kind of like all those years you ran Windows and you didn't know what you were missing in Linux because you didn't even know anything about Linux. It's kind of that way now with me and Windows. If I'm missing something, you guys are going to have to tell me about it because I haven't used Windows in so long. Yeah, I like that photo of the smashed MacBook. It made me smile. Yeah. What was funny is that just gorgeous music I found on the YouTube audio library. And whoever wrote that and played that guy's got some talent. I did link, actually, to his YouTube channel. That guy's got a YouTube channel. And he had just uploaded that song to the YouTube audio library that day I made that video. I'm sitting there listening to that song. I was like, man, this is just beautiful, this piano piece that he wrote. And, you know, it's one of those soft, moving, stirring kind of piano pieces. I was like, this would make like a great PSA, you know, one of those kind of. So that was kind of the style of video I was going, like I was, you know, a public service announcement, you know, like I was trying to do the public a good deed, a good service. And again, it was a fun video. A lot of you guys really liked it. You know, some of you even asked maybe I should do more of that kind of stuff. I don't know. I may do some more down the road, but yeah, it was good. Yeah, the YouTube audio library is awesome. Yeah, there's some good stuff in there. There was some really good stuff in there, actually. Yeah, the only thing you're missing with Windows is headaches. Yeah, but you're going to have headaches everywhere. I mean, I have headaches in Linux. You just... Yeah, Logitech is nice, budget stuff. Yeah, it's really not bad. Yeah, Chris is asking, have you seen the video about editing in Linux is not good? Yes, I saw that when that first came out. I occasionally watch videos from that guy. Is that the, what is EPOS Fox or whatever that channel is. I've seen quite a few things that guy's done. And I tell you, he is a great channel for, like, audio, video, hardware, like all this multimedia stuff that I don't know about, like audio interfaces and soundboards and things like that. If you guys have ever seen this guy's setup, I mean, he knows his stuff on that. But his video about why he can't do all of his stuff in Linux, because there are a ton of people that do quality YouTube stuff, like really quality video, quality audio, quality podcasting, you know, like his level of stuff, and they do it in Linux. I mean, they're not that many, unfortunately. It's usually mostly the Linux YouTubers that are using Linux. But I don't see a reason why, like, some of the big YouTubers couldn't use Linux. I mean, I think the quality is there as far as our software choices. I mean, most of them stream in OBS. OBS, of course, is available on Linux, so we got that covered. It's really the editing. It's the audio editors, but you know what? Audacity is a damn good audio editor, so we've got that covered too. Video editing, yeah, I'll give them that. Some of the proprietary video editors that are only available on Windows and Mac might be better, but you know what? Kdenlive is not bad. Kdenlive, I mean, it's for free and open source software is pretty good. And then, of course, Photoshop for your images, for thumbnails and things like that, channel art, OBS overlays, that, obviously things like Photoshop and Illustrator and those sorts of things are going to be much better than our free and open source alternatives like GIMP and Inkscape. But again, GIMP and Inkscape, they're pretty good. For free and open source software, they're pretty good. So obviously, I'm not an artist. I'm not a professional in any sort of way. I'm pretty amateurish as far as my skills, but everything I do on this channel, everything you see right now in OBS, I did in GIMP. All the thumbnails I've ever done, I did them in GIMP. The video editing is all done in Kdenlive. Audacity's always been the audio editor I use. So, but I refuse to believe like you can't do like professional, like YouTube quality stuff with free and open source software. I know you can, because there are people out there that are doing it. And back to the chat. Yeah, Toss. Even if I had 1 million subs, I would still try to use Linux and Windows as a backup. Yeah. Well, I can understand using something like Windows or Mac if the stuff in Linux didn't work for you. Because I say things are good now. 10 years ago, it probably would have been difficult, maybe even impossible, to do really quality like podcasting and YouTube videos and this sort of thing with free and open source software, with Linux and free and open source software. It would have been tougher 10 years ago. Maybe even impossible, really, to get the quality some folks would want. But we've come a long way. Yeah, if Linux can convince the gaming market, then it will start taking the OS market. Yeah. Yeah, we'll switch over to the chat scene here. Yeah, Kdenlive, GIMP, Audacity, yeah. Are you using the i3 window manager still? I have never really been an i3 user. I don't know that much about i3. I've taken a look at it on the channel a couple of times, but I've never really lived in i3. What you guys have always seen me, if it's a tiling window manager, most of the time it's been Qtile. A tiling window manager called Qtile. It's possible occasionally you guys have seen me in Xmonad too. I do have an Xmonad session on this machine. And they're set up to look kind of similar and function kind of similar. i3 is actually installed on this machine because I installed the Manjaro i3 edition, and then I put both Qtile and Xmonad on it. I just never log into the i3 session. I've never configured it or anything. Mainly, I just spend all my time these days in Qtile because I've just got it set up exactly the way I want it. Once you have something and it's just working for you, why bother with something else? I would have to go through the trouble to configure i3 to do exactly what I want it to. Why bother if I've already got Qtile configured the way I want it to? Yeah, you've been using i3 gaps for a few months now. Loving it. Yep, love the workflow. It does have its place, especially with like kind of what I do, because I have multi-monitors and I have so many windows open a lot of times. Like right now I'm streaming. I have OBS open, I have the YouTube chat open, I have a web browser open, I have Pulse Audio volume control open because who knows what's going to happen, with this new audio equipment, so I had that open. And I have a terminal open, again, because you never know what's going to happen. I like to always have a terminal window open in case I need to kill a unresponsive program or whatever. So yeah, and several people have asked about OpenBox. One person, I thought you used OpenBox. OpenBox is probably my favorite window manager of all time. I love it. It seems like I always end up going back to OpenBox. I'm not on it right now, though. But yes, I love OpenBox. That's why I spent a good deal of my early videos when I first started the channel on OpenBox. It's just so flexible. It's fast, light, very customizable. You can do a lot with it. A lot more with it than what most people think. Most people think, well, it's just this simple, lightweight, floating window manager. But you know what? If you take the time to configure that thing, you can do a lot with OpenBox. Yeah, the open source graphic drivers on my laptop work better than the AMD one. Well, I believe the AMD drivers are all open source now, aren't they? NVIDIA, unfortunately, is still proprietary drivers, and you have to use the proprietary drivers, unfortunately, with NVIDIA, because the open source NVIDIA drivers, the Nuvo drivers, are not good. Not good at all. Yeah, all the GNOME hate. People are like, I use GNOME, so sue me. You know, there's nothing wrong with GNOME, and people make fun of GNOME. Not necessarily the people that use GNOME. People like to make fun of some of the decisions that the GNOME developers have made in the past. I don't think most people really care what desktop environment or window manager you use. I certainly don't get wrapped up in what other people are using. But I do like to poke fun at GNOME every now and then. And KDE for that matter. Yeah, Joel's asking how it's going. I am doing just lovely, Joel. Had a long day at work. Had to go in early today, like at 5 a.m. Got off kind of early. I knew I was having my microphone delivered today. It wasn't here when I got home. I waited a couple hours. Finally, UPS dropped it off. And then I knew I needed to make a video right away. So I got it on the swivel arm and set everything up. And all I did was record like 15, 30 seconds of audio in OBS just as a test. I heard the mic. It was recording. Sounded good. Just a little few seconds. So I decided to record a video about my microphone earlier. Spent about an hour or so recording that video. Then I had to edit it. Then I published it to YouTube. And when I published it to YouTube, I realized I messed it all up. Like the very first comment on YouTube was like, hey, dude, you know you only got audio coming out of one speaker or one headphone. It's the left side. It's always going to be the left side. And when he posted that, I realized, oh, I messed up. Because I've switched to this XLR mic rather than a USB mic. I still had this thing set in OBS to record in stereo. It's not going to give you both left and right. It's only going to give you one. Always on the left. So I had to go back in the OBS audio settings. I changed it to mono. Now you just get the one track, but it is equally left and right. So, yeah, GNOME has its place. I like it because GTK apps are uniform. Cute alternatives for KDE are very clunky. I can agree with some of that. Yeah. Yeah, I saw your rap video where you poked fun at GNOME. Yeah, I was talking about that rap video earlier. So I bought that Blue Yeti that I just replaced 8 months ago. And one of the things I did with the Blue Yeti right after I got it was I made a rap video, which I posted to the channel. And I made fun of a lot of things in that video. I made fun of GNOME. I made fun of i3 users. Ryan Doskeek in particular was who that line was about. He actually made a response rap video because I threw that line in there. I think he eventually deleted his response rap video, though I don't think it's still online. But we had a little East Coast, West Coast beef going on there because of that rap video there for a minute. I was Tupac, he was Biggie. You know, in the end, though, we're both going to end up assassinated. So we squashed the beef. It's all good now. Yeah, Carl, you've been very impressed with GNOME 3.30. Yeah, resource usage has improved quite a bit. That's what I keep hearing about it. So that it's getting better. Yeah, was your old mic a dual channel mic natively? Yeah, it seemed to be. I never had that situation like I had with this XLR mic. With the Blue Yeti, yeah, it was always dual. Yeah, it was the best rap ever. Mine or Ryan's? I hope it was mine. Yeah, better look out, DT. There are dozens of pissed off GNOME users out there. Yeah, I know. I've heard from them. I've been called a hater by a few of them. Yeah, Chris, I still love why are you still using the Mac? Yeah. Yeah, that was a fun video. Again, and it was done in fun, not making fun of anybody or anything. Matter of fact, I think a lot of Mac users would appreciate that video. I mean, there were some real points I was trying to make there. Because if you're on Mac, I mean, you're already using an alternative operating system, if you will. I mean, you're not on what 92% of everybody else is on. You're already looking at being way outside the mainstream. You're on a Mac. But wouldn't you prefer to be on something that is more secure, more flexible, more customizable, something that respects your freedoms? I think most Mac users, when you put it to them like that, would say yes, absolutely. So, and I think a lot more Mac users than Windows users do know about Linux. I mean, if you went to the trouble of getting a Mac, I mean, you did some research. You know, there are other operating systems already out there other than just Windows. If you did any research at all about Mac OS, you already know it was based on FreeBSD. So even, I mean, you're way ahead of most Windows users. So you know there's other stuff out there. Why haven't you considered Linux? Was all I was trying to say. As a relatively new Linux YouTuber, your video quality has always surprised me. Yeah, thank you. And well, to be honest, I put a lot of money into this. More than maybe I should have. I won't say more than I should have. But there was some major investments as far as the video quality. You're talking about like camera. That camera and that lens, about $800 altogether. Of course, we just discussed the mic and that audio interface together are about $550. The swivel arm that's holding the mic is $100, and that's not including things I bought. I bought the Lenovo ThinkPad along the way, a Raspberry Pi along the way, several SSDs, an IC dock. I would hate to sit here and tally some of what I've spent. And I'm cheap. I don't buy like the high-end stuff. I mean, that ThinkPad, for example, was used. You know, the SSDs I bought were the cheapest thing going on Amazon, but I bought 6 of them, right? So, yeah, which ThinkPad? I'm not sure what model ThinkPad that is right offhand. I think it's the E535. That's just, if my memory serves me, I believe it's E535 was the model. It's got an AMD A8 processor in it, which isn't bad. The Toshiba Satellite you guys often see me run also has an AMD A8 processor in it. So, and Linux, any Linux distro runs just fine on it. Even some of the heavier desktop environments like GNOME, those old AMD processors run it just fine. So, yeah, what do you think about BSD changing to TrueOS? I'm assuming you're asking about Ghost BSD changing what they base their distro off of. Ghost BSD used to base off of FreeBSD. Now Ghost BSD bases off of TrueOS. I have no thoughts about that, if that's what you were asking. I haven't taken a look at the latest Ghost BSD since they made the switch, so. Yeah, I'm going to have to check out Arch. I see a lot of people talking about it more these days. Yeah. I think Arch tends to scare more people than it should. If you're a brand new Linux user, yeah, I wouldn't start out on Arch. You can play around with it. I mean, the great thing about things like virtual machines, for example, is you can play around in a virtual machine. Doesn't matter. You can't break anything, right? So have at it. But if you're actually going to put it on physical hardware and try to live in it, you know, Arch is not the first distro you should try. Not that it's hard, but you need to know a few things. You're going to have to do some stuff in the command line. Most new users are not going to be that comfortable with that. You will occasionally have things break on a rolling release. You need to, again, know how to pull up a terminal and do some commands sometimes to fix these things. Well, first you need to learn how to read the wiki to find the solution, then open the terminal to fix these things. But it's not that bad. Most people, what is strange though, what people tell me is they're scared of the Arch installation. Now that doesn't make a lot of sense because the install for Arch, under half an hour you'll have it installed. I mean, it's a pretty quick install. It's all command line, nothing graphical, but in 30 minutes you'll be done, or quicker, depending on how fast you can type and how good of a machine you have. Yeah, the stream is lagging pretty bad. Yeah, I see it too. Again, this was kind of an impromptu stream. The only reason I even did the stream was because the pre-recorded video I planned on making about this microphone didn't turn out well. I'd uploaded it, realized it was garbage, immediately deleted the video I spent, an hour or two on, recording and editing and everything. So I was like, well, I don't have time to do all of that again. So I decided, you know what? I just clicked live, start live streaming. We just do it all live. Yeah, I love Arco Linux. Yep. As a matter of fact, I had Arco Linux on that Toshiba satellite for 3 months. I just wiped it out. I put Pop! OS on it because Big Daddy Linux, the next distro challenge they're doing Pop! OS. They decided they wanted to take a look at Pop! OS this week on Saturday night's Big Daddy. So I actually pulled down the ISO and installed Pop! OS on my Toshiba satellite during the Big Daddy podcast. I had it up and running before his podcast was over. The good thing is I've gotten pretty quick at installing these distros. I've done a few of them. Yeah, Camo Dude, I've never tried Arch. Yeah, it's not scary. If you want if you're worried about the install, try Manjaro first. Dead simple install. If you can install Ubuntu, you can install Manjaro. So, yeah, Tom says, I just got a Blue Yeti. Great. Oh, and I just got a Blue Yeti. Well, you know what? You might have better luck with your Blue Yeti. I mean, like the other Linux YouTubers, there's a sizable percentage of us using the Blue Yeti. I seem to have more problems with mine than most of the other Linux YouTubers that I've talked to that had that Blue Yeti microphone. A couple of them said, yeah, the mini USB port wasn't great. They did have some problems with it, but none of them had the problems I had. I mean, I couldn't do anything with mine. The cord was always coming loose, or it was wiggling in such a way it would short out the audio. I would get just weird effects in the audio. So my Blue Yeti had more issues than most. You'll probably be okay. I hope so anyway. Again, I had absolutely no problems with the sound quality of the Blue Yeti. For what you're spending, the sound quality is pretty good on the Yeti. Yeah, Carl says it's more fun to hang out with you anyway. Yeah, and that's another reason why I decided, you know what, I'll just do it live. Man, the network connection here, there's something going on my network because the stream is struggling. I do apologize. Again, I wasn't planning on streaming during this time. So there may be folks here on the network. I should have checked that out before I hit start streaming. Yeah, I watched your old videos about customizing OpenBox. I was hoping to do videos about dicing i3 and Qtile. Yeah. Maybe you meant ricing. Maybe you're from the Unix porn subreddit. Now I did do some videos on how to customize Qtile a little bit. I kind of pimped out Qtile one time on a video, rather lengthy video. I showed you some good stuff on that, and a lot of the stuff I did in Qtile would be applicable to any tiling window manager. Obviously, it'd be a little different as far as their config files, what program, their language they're written in, or whatever. But same principles. They're all the same. Yeah, Luke Smith is a god, and he uses the Yeti of the Blue. Yeah, Luke Smith is great. Does he use a Blue Yeti? If so, that's cool. I didn't realize he used a Blue Yeti. I was watching one of Luke's streams the other night. Just didn't he do a live stream a couple of nights ago? No. Also, Luke commented on one of my videos the other day. I think he commented on that video about my equipment, actually. Since I did that video the other day, inside the making of DistroTube, where I discussed some of my video equipment. He had some comments about that. Yeah, how bad can Arch be? Yeah, Arch is great if you know what you're doing. The problem with Arch is once you get used to running Arch, it's hard to go back to anything else. Arch gets a lot of things right. Again, if you kind of know what you're doing. Yeah, i3 is surprisingly stable. Yeah, i3 probably doesn't get updated as far as the window manager i3. Probably doesn't get updated that much. And as long as they don't do anything like change the syntax of your config files, that's something some tiling window managers will do. Awesome Window Manager used to do that all the time back when I was an Awesome Window Manager user like 8-9 years ago. You would get an update to the latest and greatest Awesome, and your Awesome Window Manager would be broke because they changed the syntax, how the config was written, and my config no longer worked, so I had to write a new one. And about the second or third time I had to do that because Awesome updated and they changed the syntax of the config, I said, you know what, I'm switching window managers. That's good if i3 is working for you. Yeah, Puppy's still good. Yeah, Unix porn is the best. I keep sounding like Bill O'Reilly. Bill O'Reilly has a pretty good radio voice. As far as I'm sure he's using much better equipment than what I'm using. He's got deeper pockets than me. But yes, Bill O'Reilly, as far as a radio voice, yeah. He's got the voice for that. Not a very good face for TV, though. Of course, we're not going to get into the looks of a 70-year-old man, but yeah. I've been playing with Antergos. Yeah, Antergos is great. I keep getting people complaining about the Manjaro and Arch communities. Yes. That's all I'm going to say about that. Yes. You guys are making me realize just how addicted I am to distro hopping. Yep. That's all I'm going to say on that. Once you start, you can't stop. Yeah, Joel, I found some smugness on Arch. Really? On the Arch forums? Shocking. Hope you didn't find any elitist attitudes. Well, guys, the stream is buffering in a major way. Again, kind of an impromptu stream. I do apologize for the buffering. Before I go, for those that are just joining, I will quickly go over what the stream was about for those that missed it. It was about this new microphone. So I replaced the microphone I had been using for the last 8 months or so, which had been the Blue Yeti. The Blue Yeti, great mic. I love the sound quality of it. Mine was pretty defective, though. The USB port, the mini USB port for mine is not sized correctly. It's too loose. I couldn't get any mini USB cable. I tried 3 different ones. I bought 3 different mini USB cables. None of them would work. It just gave me fits, and it was costing me time making videos. I was recording stuff and then going back and listening to it, and either the audio was just garbage quality because the cord was shorting out, or sometimes I had no audio at all. So again, I went over to Amazon Saturday night. Actually, I was fed up, and I ordered a Blue Baby Bottle SL. The Blue Baby Bottle SL. It's an XLR mic, so not a USB mic, XLR. Paid $409 for what I got, the packaging I got, which came in this wood case, really nice wood case that the the mic shipped in. Also came with a pop filter, the shock mount, a 4-foot XLR cable. Because I had not had a XLR mic previously, you do have to have either an audio interface or a soundboard, a mixing board. So I did have to buy an audio interface. I bought the Scarlett Focusrite 2i2. That's $150. This particular audio interface gets great reviews on Amazon and everywhere else on the internet. Pretty much everybody recommends that. So I bought the Scarlett Focusrite 2i2 for the audio interface, the Blue Baby Bottle SL for the mic. From what I've heard, just playing around with it for a couple of hours, seems to be great. You guys in the chat seem to think that the quality is pretty good. Again, not filtered in any way. I'm not piping this into anything, just into OBS. Not cleaning up the audio, not doing any kind of noise reduction, which may or may not be a good thing on the live stream. A lot of background noise in the house. Maybe some of it gets picked up, maybe it doesn't. But of course the point of this is, how does the raw audio, without me really trying to clean it up in any way, how does just raw audio from this mic sound? I think it sounds fantastic. The gain on the interface, on the audio interface, is set to halfway up. If I crank it up past halfway, because I did play with the gain a little bit, if I crank it up too much more past halfway, it will pick up like every noise in the house, the street, the house across the street. I mean, this mic can be really sensitive if I crank the gain way up. So probably won't ever put the gain past about halfway, because then I would have to do some serious audio editing and filtering to get some of the background noise out. And if you start doing a lot of noise filtering, if you do too much, it actually just affects the overall quality of the audio track anyway. Like, it really degrades it. So it's better to have that gain set just enough to where noise isn't an issue, because once you start really adding a lot of Audacity filters and things like that, it can mess up the sound quality. Yep. So back to the chat, just for a couple more minutes. I'm going to kill the stream in about 2 minutes, guys. Yep, more talk about Arch. The AUR is great when it works. Yeah. Carl says, an awesome investment for the channel. I dig it. Thank you, Carl. I dig it too. It's been great so far. And here's the thing. I'm going to show you guys something I could never do with the Blue Yeti. Not mine. Did you see me just move this mic? See me moving the swivel arm? The slightest vibration on this mic or the swivel arm on the Blue Yeti would have shorted the wire, would have messed up whatever I was recording right then, and I'd have to redo it. Sometimes I would have to restart OBS. Sometimes I would have to restart Pulse Audio. Pulse Audio would freak out because the wire would be shorting and the mic would be detected, then it wouldn't be. So Pulse Audio is searching for other input devices, and that's why I always complain about Pulse Audio. A lot of my complaints about Pulse Audio really were about my defective mic. That mic was causing me problems. This mic won't. So already, I can tell you right now, this mic is going to be well worth the money that I spent on it. So, yeah, sounds excellent. Sounds good. Mic sounds good. Yep. How much did I spend in total? $550 for the mic and the audio interface. Now, if you already have an XLR mic, you might already have an audio interface or a mixing board, so you might not have that expense. The audio interface was $150. The mic was $400. Also, if you need a swivel arm, the swivel arm is $100 too. I already had that though, so I didn't need that. But just the mic itself, which is really probably what you're asking, the Blue Baby Bottle by itself with no extras of any kind typically retails for $399.99. Yep, Vikstron, I'm going to head off. See you. Good talking, everyone. Have a good day. Thanks for stopping by. I'm going to kill the stream in just a second. Yeah, good night. Good night. Much love. Agreed. I've lost the stream completely. I do apologize again about the buffering. Let me go ahead and kill the stream here. So before I go, just very quickly here, I know we got some internet issues here, but really, more so for this than maybe any video I've made in the past. This show was made possible by Ansem, Carlos, Chris, David, Leo, Rob, and Tony. Of course, they are the sponsors of the channel. They are my highest tiered patrons.